Here's another quick update on the curriculum you might be interested in. So this is an expanding and factorising unit I've been working on. And often when you're teaching a lesson, you might get through 2 or 3 typical questions or objectives in one lesson. So you can now select 3 of them and then just press example problem. And then you can work your way through these questions just by using these little arrow buttons here. Now, one thing that I think is really important in maths is this idea of variation. So later on, as you've worked your way through this expanding and maybe you've done factorising, quadratics, you might then want to compare that with an earlier objective and ask yourself, like, what's the same and what's different. So now you can select those 2 topics, go back to your example problem pair, and there's a comparison mode here. So at the moment, while it's not checked, you just cycle through expanding, factorising, which is kind of useful. But if you check the compare box, then now you can see you can have the expanding on one side and the factorising on the other. So you can compare and contrast the 2 approaches that you might use when you're expanding or factorising an expression, and show where, in this case, that they are the kind of like the inverses of each other. So yeah, this little compare button here I think is going to be super useful for when you want to compare an objective that you're currently doing with an objective that you've previously covered in the unit that you're working through.